you the fan that was with Tyson? You got some of that shit we were trying to smoke. I was like, hell yeah, Pac. And Pac, we went over there, smoked with Mike Tyson the rest of the night. Lionel Richie was complaining. It was, I woke up the next morning like, wow, this is what a life.
This is back to your story.
I got the JB. I got some blunts right here. Whatever the fuck you want, we got it.
Sick.
Man, I really appreciate this. I appreciate you coming on. I know we've been talking for a while now. I mean, during season 1, I asked you to come on, and we just wrapped it up, and I wasn't able to get you on. But I do appreciate you driving all the way out here. It does mean a lot to me. How's the sound level? You sound good?
Sounds great.
Fuck yeah, let's go. So for the people just listening, tune in. I want you to do a brief introduction of who you are and your name and what the fuck you're all about.
I go by the name of Chucky Chuck, don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I love that shit.
You know, representing Suburban Noise Records, King Click, worked a lot with the Cotton Mouth Kings. Just a freelance loadie, I guess you'd call it, like a pop pioneer, they're saying. I like to fight for the freedom of marijuana, although it's free now, so there's not much to fight for, so we're kind of just celebrating at this point.
I love that, man. Yeah. I love that. It's so crazy to see the evolution of cannabis, right? Because I remember growing up, we would get the High Times magazines and just like fucking look at them as if they were like Playboys, right? Yeah. And always like envision of going to Amsterdam because it was, you know, legal there and having all of that. And then I think it was like 2005, I was, how old was I? Probably 19 years old, 20 years old. And I got my first medical marijuana license. And it was fucking probably like $500, right, to get it. And I think the very first thing I bought in the store was $100 eighth of Master Kush. And it just shit was so expensive back then, right? But then to see this evolution of all the states and everything going on now becoming more and more legal, it's mind-blowing, man.
Yeah. The people that used to arrest us now want to like sponsor us and
it's crazy.
Have us smoke their strain of marijuana. Everyone's getting into different companies and I bet you Disney behind the scenes has the finest weed going right now in the dispensaries over there. And
yes,
I bet you they're all involved with it too. So
100%, man.
Billboards of people smoking weed. It's gotten real.
It's crazy. I mean, especially out here where the studio is in Santa Clarita, there's like billboards for delivery weed and all of this shit. And it's just like, how the fuck did this happen?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, it should have happened years ago. I mean, I come from the school of thought that I truly believe that all drugs should be legal. But for cannabis and how much it's changed and now what's happening like with psilocybin and everything like that, it's just such a beautiful thing.
What state just legalized everything? Oregon?
Oregon,
so
yeah,
you just go there and just smoke crack, heroin,
everything.
That's dangerous.
It is dangerous, but you know the thing is like with the epidemic that we have with opiates, right? You know, 100,000. The number one killer for 18 to 49-year-olds is opiates, and it's tons of fentanyl overdoses. And the thing is like although I have a lot of issues with the FDA, but if they legalized it and then monitored it like they do with all the other drugs, right? That would ensure that, you know, your crack, your speed, your heroin would not be getting laced with fentanyl.
Yep.
Right?
Get all your crack from crackies.
It's so crack, weird, man. It's like, why the fuck do they do that? Like, why are they putting fentanyl in Coke?
I don't know. Probably because that might be another way to depopulate society too. Like, just kill them off.
Yeah.
Oh, Oregon, everyone can do drugs there. Let's see how many overdose we can get.
It's like, bam.
5,000, all right.
Yes. Who's controlling that
Jesus,
shit?
They got like a leveling thing of, I don't know. It's scary to think about, you know?
It is. I mean, I know you can relate, but especially for me, like I remember growing up, it's like if you purchased this Coke, actually, whatever the fuck it was like, that's what you got, right? It could have been mixed with some other shit, but it was like, you never had the fear of getting fentanyl in it and then overdosing.
No, it was freelance back when I was a youngster too.
Yeah.
You know, these little kids are dabbling in it and what is it called? Experimenting with
of course.
Drugs. So it was like acid and ecstasy and mushrooms for me back in the day, but now it's like all these pharmaceutical pills and they don't know what they're putting in that shit.
No, it's crazy. Did you ever watch that? It's like a mini series called Dope Sick on Hulu, I think it was. It's with can you look that up, Tyler? Who's the actor in it? The main actor in Dope Sick. Such a great movie or miniseries, and it's about the evolution of the opiate crisis and how the Sackler family, Purdue, really just kept on pushing OxyContin more and more and more, and they said that it was non-addictive. And they would constantly like double the dose. So they'd start out like 20 or 30 milligrams. They go up to like 40, 60, 80, 120. And now you have this huge crisis of people that are all hooked to opiates. Who is it?
So if you look on the screen back there,
Yeah,
you
let me
see
see.
the whole entire cast.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, Michael Keaton, fucking Batman, right there, what is that movie? It's just fucking on. It's a Tim Burton movie, Beetlejuice, right?
That Will kid right there. He's a little punk.
Yeah.
What movies he
Yeah.
plays like the brat kid.
Yeah, wasn't he in Will Poulter, or however the hell you pronounce his name? Yeah, he did just such a great show, and it just shows exactly how terrible, the pharmaceutical companies, especially Purdue, really pushed the opiate crisis, and it's just so freaking sad because you have all of these people now hooked to different types of drugs.
Just making mad money at it too, with having yachts and boats, and people are just dying. That's crazy.
It's just not fair. It's not right, man. It's the society that we live in today. But let's get to your story, man. Where does your story originate? Because I know you're a musician and you everything that you do for the cannabis world, and you've been such a icon for so many people for so long. But where did your journey originally start?
Well, I'd probably say definitely in Redondo Beach. Hanging around my friends that would like skateboard, ride motocross. Some were like training to fight, and big punk rock atmosphere in Hermosa, Redondo Beach, and a lot of musicians around there. And I kind of just smoking weed with some of my friends, little youngsters, and they were a bit younger than me, and they showed me the band, the Kotton Mouth Kings.
Yeah.
And they were like, yo, check these dudes out. And at the time, I was playing a lot of like Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah.
Kotton Mouth Kings on their first record reference the ICP. So one of the rappers on there, rest in peace, Saint Dog, he's like, he said something about the CD was on and the ICP was bumping or something like that on there. And my friend flipped out. He's like, yo, these guys are talking about ICP. And then this next song, they're talking about South Bay. And I come to find out they live down the street.
Fuck.
So we kind of like, this is like 1998, 99. And we kind of swooped by their pad on skateboards and bikes and kind of seen them all hanging out front. We're like, damn, that's crazy. I got in a little bit of trouble with some marijuana back in the day. Like we said, it was like,
yeah, can you move the mic just a little bit closer? Sorry, cut.
The weed was illegal back in the day. So
of course.
I got caught with some. I got in some trouble. I had to like move up. My parents moved, so I was out of town, and my friends started hanging out with them, bodyboarding with Bobby B, the DJ.
Yeah.
And like I was working at a tattoo shop doing tattoos, and I got the Kotton Mouth King's crown on my stomach, just huge. And they caught wind of that, and next thing you know, I started hanging with them. Became friends with one of the lead singers, D-Loc, and like moved in with him, started touring. Then they just started throwing me the microphone, and it just kind of took off from there. I was like a roadie, a rock star roadie, and I just started going on tour with them. That started in like 2002, and I've done groups and stuff. We did the DGAF record.
Yeah.
I've done Subnoise Soldiers. We just did a record called the King Click. I've done a bunch of solo stuff, so I just kind of like rode that wave for as long as I've been doing it, and it's been about 18 years now, and I'm still going. So
that's incredible, man.
It's fun.
That's incredible. When you were younger, did you ever have dreams to be a musician and rap and all that?
Yeah, it was either supercross, motocross racing, or a rock star.
Wow.
Either one of those I wanted to partake in, and or movies too. I always wanted to be in movies.
Yeah,
I always thought that was really cool to do. But I fell into the touring world and music and selling T-shirts. So it's been a long road, and it's been a fun one. I don't see me stopping anytime soon. There's no age limit to it. So people are like, oh, you're 42 and still talking about smoking weed. I'm like, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Look at Snoop.
I'll buy a shirt.
Yeah, dude. Your shirts, the graphics that you guys create or that you create is just it's incredible. It's really incredible. When you were younger, do you remember the very first tour you went on with them?
Yeah, I just Rolling Stone tour, and what's crazy with that story is I was supposed to be on a promotional van. So they had the whole van wrapped up like the album cover, Rolling Stone, with them all on a bus, blazing, of course. And they had a huge bus, too, like the touring bus.
Yeah. So
when we pulled up, and it was actually in Burbank. The old Suburban Noise Records used to be out in Burbank right here. And we got to the van, and it was full to the brim. And we were going to fit 3 people in there. These guys called the Hit Squad. That would be promoters.
Yep.
And their job was to go to the town before they'd get there and hand out flyers. This is before this maybe even MySpace days, before MySpace was cracking, and like hand-to-hand combat with promoting shows, like flyers and windows, going to colleges or outside of parties or like clubs and handing out flyers. So their job was to go to like Tennessee one night, and Cottonmouth was in the town over. So the night before they'd be promoting it. So when they came, people know they were coming, and I was on that. I was going to be that kind of guy to be the tour before, so I wouldn't be able to see any of the shows. And when we got to the lot, it was called, the van was full and there was no seats.
Oh shit.
But luckily I was friends with some of the guys, and they said, Chuck, just ride on the bus until they lose a couple boxes, then you can hop in and keep it rolling. And I was like, oh, let's go. And within 2 or 3 hours, everyone was like, we're kind of a man down on the stage team, so why don't you just hop on and do the stage stuff, learn how to do it. And then the other guy's like, I'll roll on there. And like, no, we're going to take Chuck. So I just became, I slept in the back of the bus, and they were big at the time too. So we're doing sold out shows every night. And it was like 70 shows. They were gone for like 3 months at a time, home for about 8 weeks a year. It was nonstop touring. Those dudes were road dogs. And with Big B too, there's this rapper named Big B. They put on, I became his hype man, and I would come out with Kotton Mouth, do some songs with them, and it just kind of revolved into me becoming an artist, which I always would freestyle battle rap growing up at parties, and I was always into like Wu-Tang and NWA and all that stuff. So it was kind of like a perfect fit, and I just kind of became a white rapper. You know,
that's so crazy. What you said is like white rapper, right? You know, looking back at your own life, does it sometimes seem like a dream, like the whole experience?
Yeah. You know, and recently too, because we just went viral for some smoke thing we did. We've done it before.
Yes.
But we just went viral, and I was like seeing it on TV. I'm like, man, this is what I really do, huh? This is what we do. It's like it was crazy.
I was literally just showing Tyler the picture of that. You filled up the what the fuck is that thing called?
My friends over there at Elite Solutions, they have these like leaf blowers.
Okay.
So when you see the people doing the lawn, just blowing the leaves, they modify it to put like pounds of weed on top, and then you just take a torch like this, torch it, and then you just blow out pounds of weed in 5-6 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes.
Holy
pounds of weed.
shit, dude! The amount of smoke that thing puts out.
Yeah, that's why I thought I've done it before, but it wasn't like that, especially outside. It was like, even when we were leaving, me and my lady, we were leaving, like, man, that was kind of legendary.
It is.
Like, we looked at it, like, yeah, we killed it. And like, we walked away from there just not knowing. And the next morning we woke up and they're like, yo, you're on TMZ, you're New York Post, Fox News, all this stuff. I'm like, wow, that's what we do. It surprised me, but I'm not like, it was just like, wow, that's what they do. They're finally noticing. Like, I don't know if you could talk trash on it, whatever, but
no, go for it.
That's what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was fun.
When I saw that post, I showed Tyler, and I was just like so fucking blown away. First off, the amount of smoke that it puts out, but it was just so cool to like, you know, see all the news articles about it and talking about it. When you blow a pound of fucking weed, does everyone just get baked? How does that even work?
Yeah, it's like trim kind of stuff. So it's like there was nuggets in there too, but
Yeah.
it's like it gets you faded, because earlier in the day we did it in like the backstage room, and I took a big old rip. I was like, oh man, I got to be careful not to ingest that while we're up on stage. And another story, we did one of those a couple months ago at a little spot called Winston's in OB, San Diego, small bar, and we had 3 of those inside there. So when we blew those inside that thing, and they have never, this like slightly stupid plays there.
Holy
Mouse,
shit.
they've been like, yo, people smoking here, but that was the most smoke we've ever seen. What the hell? And like, I heard it smoked in there for weeks. It just smelled.
I don't
like
freaking.
when I was up there trying to spit my verses and breathe, I was like, oh, I was just blowing in smoke, just constantly blazing it like a straight hot box. So.
Fuck yeah. But you're hotboxing a massive room. It's not like when we were just camping. Where were we camping, Tyler?
We were in San
Onofre, right?
Nice.
We were San Onofre, and I had like a quarter pound of like some weed. My wife, I wish I had the picture. I would definitely show you. But my wife, she doesn't smoke weed at all or anything like that. But during like the pandemic and all of that, she decided to grow some weed, right? And so she grew this like 10-foot fucking plant, just like legendary, and just like making sure the pH balance and the alkalinity and just like really on top
It's
of
an
it,
art
right?
form, huh?
It is literally an art form, and you know my wife is like 5'2", and like I said, she doesn't even like smoke weed or do any of that shit. And to see what she created was beautiful. But I kept this quarter pound because I always had this thought. I was like, well, what happens if I like throw it into a fire? And me, like an idiot, right? I bring the quarter pound of weed. We have the fire going when we're camping. And it was like the last night I was like, okay, I'm going to throw it in there. And I was expecting like all this smoke and shit. Nope, not at all. I just fucking burnt it instantly. Damn. And we should have put down like this gate, and so like it would sizzle on top of it, but it did nothing. It did absolutely nothing.
It'll burn, like if you don't break it up too and grind it all down, it'll probably just burn away.
It literally it was kind of depressing because we were all expecting like this big thing, and I was like, is it gonna get my wife high? But it didn't end up working out.
Yeah, we've been doing those guns for a couple. My homeboy Cannabis King, was one of the first ones to do it with me, and he's got it to an art form too, where it's just like you could put an ounce in there, or 2 ounces, 3, 4 different bowls, and it's gonna catch on. I think other artists are gonna do it.
Oh,
now, for
100%,
sure.
man. There's just no doubt about it. And the company's called Elite Solutions.
Elite Solutions, and then they call themselves like the Smoke Busters. Smoke Busters, and then my homie Chronic Kush King got one too with Earth Smokes a lot. These guys go viral with smoking and washers and dryers.
Wait.
They hide in like little tugboats, like the little boxes, and smoke out of anything they can imagine. Ovens.
No
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
way.
they go viral all the time. So those guys are funny. Shout out to them.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get back to your story. So 2002, right? You start doing that. Is that when you got the tattoo, or is that the first tour?
No, I got the tattoo in like '99.
That's dedication, bro.
Like 99, 2000 era, and then started running with them by 2001, and all the California shows, and linking up with like Twitch and Scummy, and like the whole bro scene was right there, like right in that.
Scummy's
whole
been
era.
on the show.
Yeah, that like right in that that whole era of bro-ness.
Yes.
Was right there. So I kind of in that mix, and I was like 2002. Then by like 2004, I went on a tour with them. It was called the Wicked Wonka Tour with the
That's
Insane
such a
Clown
great name.
Posse, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Cotton Mouth, and a rapper named Tech Nine.
That's
And it was
fucking insane.
It was the first time a lot of people had heard of Tech Nine, so they were kind of blown away from, at least in the underground scene where I was from. But I'd heard of him, and after I did that tour, I was like, this is definitely what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then I kind of just was full board then at that point by 2004, and just started doing it more and more and hoping for more tours and just having fun.
Is that your favorite thing to do, tour?
You know, it was until I started had kids and stuff. Now
Yeah.
it's more like I like doing live performances, but like going out for weekends at a time. Because if you leave for 72 days or 70 days, even 30 days is a long time, and
Yeah, it is.
it just gets to wearing on you, know?
Isn't that kind of crazy? Like the older you get, you have kids, you got all these other responsibilities. It's like life starts to change, man.
Yeah, for sure. So and it's hard to juggle too, the stuff that we do and have kids, but we pull it off.
Yeah, yeah. You guys are definitely doing it right. I remember that era, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. I mean, Cotton Mouth Kings. Yeah, it was such a like culture. Right? It was like such a lifestyle, and everyone out here listened to them and rocked out. I've been to so many shows, and then just to be able to see everything that they've done all throughout the years is incredible. You talked about Saint Dog earlier.
Yeah.
What happened to him, man?
I don't know, really. I know possibly people say drug overdose, but I wasn't going to put that in the atmosphere. I never read an autopsy. Usually when people die, I hate like, oh, what happened? But it was shocking to me too. Like I knew he's crazy. Saint Dog was a free spirit. He was a nut. So nothing put past that dude. I would never imagine him for me to see that post that he actually died, which was like 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
So when it happened, it like hit me even harder. I was like, damn. So I never asked his brother. Shout out to Big Hoss. He's still around. I talk to him sometimes. I just never really asked them, but all signs usually post like an overdose. I know he had problems with that stuff. I tried to help him. I tried to help so many people, but you got to find that within yourself. If that's actually what happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a sad waste of talent. He was he was a go-getter. He was good at that. He was a rock star in every sense of the word. Taught me a lot.
Yeah.
Taught me a lot.
Yeah, it's really sad, when people die too young. It's fucked up. I mean, obviously it's gonna happen to all of us.
Is today the 15th? I think his birthday's today, or it was either yesterday or today.
Yeah, happy birthday, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Saint Dog. It's such
It was a wild one.
Yeah, but an incredible talent.
But yeah, like when I first seen their video, I was like, what? That dude's style is sick. The way he just moved, his his mannerisms and like walking, and just you could tell when he came in the room that fool was a rock star, just like someone who just had that aura about him. Not that many people possess that. Even people that do it, they have to put that on when they go on stage or when they go in the booth. He was that sun up to sundown.
Just lived it.
Lived it.
Literally lived it. Yeah, there's certain type of people in this world that just everything that they are is who they truly are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of times we put on a face, we try to act different or better or worse, whatever the situation is. But there are some people out there that truly who they are every second, every minute of the day, and they don't put on a different face. And I give mad respect to those people.
Yeah, it's hard nowadays too, seeing people with the freedom of social media. Like you can portray, you got the dopest shit. You got
know.
This, that, and the third, and then once that phone's down, they're just like they hate life, and it's just like, oh, how can I make my friends from high school jealous. How can I make this person? And it's always like what other people think. And I like surrounding me with people that just don't give a fuck about what other people are thinking, or just that whole mentality of like, oh my God, if I do this, I might get shunned, or do this, if I wear this, it's like to a certain extent, it gets too much for people.
Absolutely. Yeah. We live in a culture where it's like this cancel culture mentality, right? And then there's also this like facade mentality because of social media. And it is definitely bullshit, because you can post all of these things standing in front of these fake cars or whatever, pretending to be this person that you're not. And like you said, then you put down the phone, and that's not who you are. But to everyone else that's following you, that's what reality is. And you can't get reality just through an image, like it's so different. And the toll that it plays on the younger generation, like we're very fortunate, I'm 36 in a couple of months, or at the end of the year. And, we grew up in a time where there wasn't the internet, right? I mean, I remember a kid, I was a latchkey kid, out sunrise to sunset, right? And just kind of on my fucking own. And then as I got older, the internet and MySpace, Facebook, all of that shit started to come about. And it is very fortunate, I believe, to be able to have both sides of the story, because I couldn't imagine, obviously I think this is truly I believe this is the greatest time that has ever been to ever live, right? I mean, through technology and advancements in medicine and everything that we have, right? Obviously there's still bad shit, but there's tons of great, and especially living in, Southern California, the opportunities that a lot of us do have is truly amazing. But, still living in this environment, it is so important to be truly who you are. And so, when I look at like DGAF, don't give a fuck, like that's who you are. That's who you are to the fucking core. And it doesn't matter what you wear on your hat or shirt, or whatever the hell it is, but it's in your heart and your soul.
But it's also like, I do give a fuck.
Yeah. Like of course.
These kids that, like,
of course,
they start hanging out with me, and I don't look at myself as like a superstar or like that. You know, I kind of see myself as a fan that got lucky. So when these other kids hang with me, they like try to show off. Like I'll get in their car. I used to be able to like hang out with everybody, and they'd get in their car and they'd be like going 100 miles an hour, hitting nitrous or something. Like, check me out, Chucky Chuck. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, like, whoa, dude, like, put your seatbelt on or slow the fuck down.
Yes.
But it's like, and I don't want people to always be like, oh, that fool's crazy. He don't give a fuck. But like, I do give a fuck to the max. It's like 50. It's like, it's a constant contradiction. That's why I love it. It works out though. So
no, it's two sides of the same coin.
Beautiful symphony of ignorance, I guess. I don't know.
No, but it's two sides of the same coin. Definitely. Because you can not give a fuck, but also give a fuck.
And that goes with a part of being yourself all the time too.
Yes.
Like if I were to be like, oh yeah, I really don't give a fuck, then I probably wouldn't be here having this interview with you, because a lot of my friends, like they lose their lives, they're locked up in jail, and they truly don't give a fuck.
Yes.
Like I've asked them, yo, you should chill on that. And they're like, what, Chucky Chuck, you give a fuck? I'm like, yes, I do. And then next thing you know, they're not here no more. They're either locked up or under the underground, or it's a tricky world out there. You got to play your cards right.
Yes, you do.
Know when to give a fuck and know when not to give a fuck.
Absolutely.
So you use that as your own discretion, or it's damn good at fatherhood, or you're a fisherman, damn good at fishing.
Of course.
It's all kinds of different stuff. You can make it yourself.
What? Bringing it back to your story, right? You talked about your kids earlier. What is it like? Like, how do you talk about cannabis and those types of things to your kids? Maybe a 4-year-old's a little too young.
Yeah,
but
my 4-year-old, he doesn't even talk yet. He's like, he's just in his own world right now. He don't know what's up or down, but he's the best little thing. That's Cole. But my 14-year-old, and he's got older brothers, so he's like 14, but he's like 24.
Yeah.
He's got the sagging pants right now.
Yeah.
A big T-shirt. He came over last time I seen him. He smelled like Cool Water cologne. He lives with his mom most of the time. So when I see him and I talked about cannabis, he brought up the first time it brought to my attention was when he came home and he said, yo, the teacher said that smoking weed was bad and this and that. And then I raised my hand and I said, my dad smokes weed every day. And and he's like, oh, is it medical? He's like, yeah. And like, okay. And like, shut it down. And then like with his brothers and stuff, he sees me as a marijuana legend, I guess. Like, oh yeah, Chuck's dad's a weed legend. This and that. I think it's funny. I mean, I I've asked him if he smoked. He says he hasn't smoked, but I mean, by his age, I was already doing acid.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I was
That's
deep
ecstasy,
down
all
and
that.
everything. Like, what's cracking? So it scares me when I see that, but hopefully he's in that right environment, and I believe him. You know, when he's ready, we'll talk about it more, but
Absolutely.
so then he's still a little kid. And when you smoke that young, you really don't grow. Your brain gets
100%
stuck in that little thing. That's why I'm that way. I did way too much drugs as a youngster, so I'm kind of like, it made me who I am today, which I wouldn't change it, but
Of course.
I wouldn't wish that for my son.
No,
I want him to wait till he's about 18, 19, and until he really has hair in his balls. And that's what I told him. When you have hair in your balls, then you can talk about smoking.
Yes. Well, you know, we already know through science and everything like that, you know, the frontal cortex of the brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25 years old, right?
See?
But, you know,
That was my problem.
That was my problem too. I tried, dude, I was 9 years old the first time I smoked a cigarette. I never not wanted to, you know, do drugs and smoke weed and try all of that shit. I always wanted to. And the first time I smoked weed, I was like 13, 14. And by the time I was 15, I was taking ecstasy and acid and mushrooms and a whole bunch of other shit, you know. But there is definitely a time and place for everything. But I do believe, you know, I'm not a father yet, but open dialogue, open communication with kids is so important. I feel that so many parents just want to lock their kids up and not allow them to do this or that and the other thing and not really be honest with them. Because at the end of the day, the shit's going to happen regardless, right?
Yeah, and even if you don't talk to your kids, they got a cell phone in their hand and they got everything. That's another parent. Like some of these kids are like, the parents are, here you go, and they're just swerving the internet, you know, learning about all kinds of stuff and they don't even have to ask their parents. So it's like by the time it comes up, they're like, oh yeah, that's when you're nut inside the vagina, mom. That's how you make a baby. Like, what are you watching on that phone? You know, it's scary.
It's so true.
But then it goes back to saying, like, the environment we're in now, the time and the era, it's the most craziest time. Like 15 seconds, if you don't get your point off in 15 seconds, these kids are going to swipe to the next thing. Or like, it's just the instant gratification. They want the instant, that song, they like that boom, they like that image, they like that bicycle jump or whatever.
Absolutely.
These TikToks are just suggested ads and they're just sitting there surfing. So they only get 15 seconds of airtime, you know. It's
100%. It's instant gratification. But I do also see, you know, I'd love to see the metrics of, you know, the age of people when they like listen to podcasts. Fucking 12 million people listen to each Joe Rogan episode. And I'm sure it's like, you know, people like our age and maybe a little bit younger. But, you know, Tyler, can you actually look that up?
Yeah. So if you look on the screen behind you, 50% of monthly U.S. podcast listeners are aged between 12 and 34.
Holy shit.
Wow, that's young.
So 43 between 35 and 54. So yeah, between 12 and I would say about 54.
And the 54 and older, they're still going out there buying like Face of Death, getting VHS to watch their stuff. Huh? That's
I remember
crazy.
that shit. But yeah, that is crazy. 12 to 34 year olds, 43. What is that? 43%?
Yeah, 43% between 35 and 54, but 50% are between 12 and 34.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, most podcasts are like, you know, 45 minutes to a couple hours, right?
Yep.
So that's the conundrum, right? Because yes, instant gratification, but then how do they listen to these long ass podcasts, right?
True.
So I once again, I think it's like we're talking about, it's like two sides of the same coin, right? But
You got to catch them in that first 15 minutes, huh?
yeah, you do.
Get their
You do.
attention.
That hook is so freaking important, right? So, you know, going back to your story, right? 2002, 2004, 2005. When did you, you know, start creating your groups, right?
Well, 2005. I was about 25 years old. We started doing the Sub Noise Soldiers. It was kind of like the Wu-Tang of the Suburban Noise Records. You'd have everyone in Kotton Mouth Kings, Big B, Dirtball, Saint Dog, Judge D, myself, and we'd all came together, made a record with that, and then a few of us branched off and did tours. And then around 2008, we were going to do a King Click record back in the day with like Kotton Mouth Kings, me and Saint Dog, and then they wanted to do another King Spade song or a record. So they went up and did that, and then me and Saint linked up and did the DGAF record in like 2008, which we just came for their necks. I was real young at that time, and we just came fierce. It was like the opposite of Kotton Mouth Kings. Like, we weren't talking about the legalizing. We were talking about smoking weed, breaking bottles, and just being savages. Yeah. And it was kind of more rougher edge. And, you know, Saint Dog was in that one too, and he fulfilled everything that DGAF was about, and in every sense of the word. So that was a perfect fit for him to be in it. And it's actually coming up on the 15-year anniversary this next year. 2023 will be the 15 years. and we're gonna do a release of the record. Probably do a big show, get Haas out there, Gillies, and make some new songs too, and just reboot it a little bit.
Damn, that's incredible.
Maybe bring
man.
Saint Dog's son of Saint. He's on the new King Click record, so he's an aspiring artist too. He's super sick, so that'd be dope.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, that really is incredible. When you go to like write a song, right? What is that approach like? Like, do you write it down? Do you freestyle it?
It varies. A lot of the times when I work with other artists, they already have like the concept of the song or like the hook already there and the beat. So that's like the easiest part when you already know what you're going to talk about. But when you get your beats, like my producer, Eddie Ruxpin, we worked together. We did a whole record, just him, and about 13 songs called the Hench Sword record, my first solo record. And we just sat there and smoked weed, thought about what we do and just put it down. You know, as soon as I was hearing some of the beats, the words would kind of come to me, and he helped out with making some of the hooks too. So like we just put together a little format where you just make the hook and then think about what you want to talk about and get secluded, write your raps, go in there, spit it, and just on to the next one. You know, we made a bunch of them, and some of them we didn't make the record, but it's a fun process.
What is your most enjoyable thing, to perform live or create the songs?
Definitely performing live. It's nothing like that. It's not, even if there's 2 or 20,000, I've never played for like 20,000, but like 200, 2,000 people or 2, it doesn't matter. I'll always put the energy in, and it kind of takes you back to the energy when you made that song. You know, you like, oh, I remember this one, and you just get into it, and like you see the other people singing back to you. That's like an ultimate high. And the first time I got off a tour, and my friend's like, yo, let's go to the bar, let's go to this. And I went out and did some, like what I used to do. It was so boring to me. Like I can understand why like these artists, like who was the guy back in the day I looked up to? Jim Morrison. Yeah. He would get a high from the crowd that he couldn't replace with drugs. So it was like, it's scary to think about it, but like the high you get, it's like irreplaceable. Yeah. So you just want to keep chasing that high of performing live, and like you get nervous. I told my lady the other day, it's like kind of like racing dirt bikes. I used to race when I was a little younger, and you get so nervous at first when you're up on the gate, and then the gate drops, and then all of it goes away, and it's just second nature. You're just riding dirt bikes. Same with doing shows. You see the crowd, you hear the people, other people up there before you, maybe they mess up. You're like, oh man, I hope that doesn't happen to me. Their mic's fucking up, or there's so many variables to doing a lot. What if I trip, or do I have a booger on my nose? You know, it's just so many variables. But once that first initial beat hits and you get your lyric and your mic's on, it's just like the same thing, like a dirt bike race, and it just comes second nature.
You just zone out and just in the freaking moment, man.
And back in like 2016, I started really coming into my own with like performing live. Like I stopped listening to other people, what they told me to do, and I just kind of like found myself. And my friend Eddie would get pissed because I'd like go on the street and bring like bums on stage with me. I'd bring like trash cans, like dump trash cans, or go in the audience, do the most weirdest stuff. But it was like the freedom and like just control the crowd. Like an MC, they're masters of ceremonies, like mic controllers. Yes. So you just gotta control the crowd. And I seen this one act, Green Jelly. Okay. You know, little pig, let me in. And he's like a punk rocker, Charles Mann speaker. And the way he would demand the crowd, I was like, wow, I want to intricate some of this stuff. And then I kind of just came into my own. Now I get nervous for sure every show, but it's just like when we're done, we're like, oh, that's easy. That's it. Yeah. It's fun.
Isn't that incredible? So all these years later, that nervousness, that excitement, that's still there. And that means that you truly love it, right? Because if that's gone, if that's away, what the fuck are you even doing it for? Yeah. Right? I've never performed in front of 1,000, 2,000 people, but like even this experience, like this is season 2, right? This is the first episode. I was freaking excited, nerves, right? You come in here, right? Like, but as soon as you sat down and the mic turns on, it's just like we're fucking here, we're in the moment. It's different, but once again, two sides of the same coin, right? So, where did this "Don't Give a Fuck" come from? Well, or do give a fuck?
Yeah, dude, they came from Don't Give a Fuck for sure. When I was, I'd say about 13 or 14, my brother played football for El Camino Football College. It was like a community college out in like Compton area. Yeah. And he was a badass football player. He was good. And I remember one of the practices, I seen this dude and it had like DGAF on his stomach, huge and like big ass letters. I was like, damn, that was tatted up. I was like, what does that mean? And he looked at me, he's like, forget about it. I was like, all right, fuck it. I kind of blew it off. The name was Nigel Greer. No, Dion Brunfield. Nigel Greer was the other dude. Dion Brunfield was his name. He was like a running back for them or something. And fast forward to the end of the season, my brother like won the game for them, tackled the quarterback, got the fumble, went into the end zone, and I seen Deion Brumfield in there celebrating my brother. My brother picked me up, and I was like, "Hey man, what does that stand for?" And he's like, "Don't give a fuck." And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm Chucky Chuck, don't give a fuck."
Love
No
that.
way. He's all Chucky Chuck DGAF, and I was like, "That's right." So I kind of just took, and he's a brother, you know. So I just kind of took that in the white boy sense to the beach with my homies, and my friend Albert Gordado. He called me. He's the one who named me Chucky Chuck.
Okay.
Chucky Chuck. And then there was this Chucky Chuck, don't give a fuck. And then I came and I was like, nah, it's Chucky Chuck DGAF. And I would tag it on my backpack. And the senior year in high school, around 98, they went and, you know, when people do the pranks, whatever, they went to go on the football field and like scribe with a bleach the fucking grass. And he put DEGAF. And then I got a call to the principal's office, like, yo, you need to come up here. Oh, and I was like, oh, no. See my backpack? It says DGAF. That says DEAF. And I'm like, yeah, don't ever give a fuck.
Don't ever give a fuck.
Got away with that. And then it kind of just like, back to like 2002 when I was on tour with them, the main way a lot of artists make money on the road is selling merchandise.
Of course.
And rest in peace to the homie Pakalika.
Yeah.
We had already been like spray painting DGAF on shirts. Excuse me, like stencils. Cut out DGAF on a white shirt, put it all over, just punk rock style.
Fuck yeah.
So one of the lead singers, D-Look, he'd be up on stage wearing it. And Pakalika was like, yo, you should take some of this money. He gave me some money. He's like, go to Walmart, get some blank shirts, and make a bunch of those. We'll sell them at the merch booth. And next thing you know, we started doing that and sold out. Next thing you know, boom, 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 DGAF. Everyone, even if you don't like the music, a lot of people don't give a fuck. They like the terminology.
100%.
Like DGAF is on half the bikers in America on their helmets. Or does it look like I give a fuck? Or it's like an acronym. So
no way, man.
Kind of just capitalized on it and put it in like T-shirts and
that was you.
made the record.
Wow.
Kind of just got up, tagged it on walls, Chucky Chuck DGAF. Fuck it, we were doing it all over the place. It was,
dude. I just remember seeing the T-shirts and I mean, it was just pushed into my whole entire crowd of people I was hanging out with. Back in the day. And to hear that story, how it was created and how it all started, that's fucking crazy, man.
It's nuts.
That's like literally fucking crazy.
Yeah, shout out to Gillies. He was in the beginning of all that. He's the one who introduced me to Kotton Mouth and got me in that door. So it was pretty much me and him.
Holy shit, that's cool. Dude, you're more than welcome to smoke these blunts right here.
Yeah.
There's a blunt and a joint. If you want the joint, you're more than welcome to take it.
I'm with it.
Would you like it? All right. Let's go. There you go. Sorry, sir. So, looking back, what you just said, you brought up Pakalika.
Yeah, he was like the first fool to ever smoke weed on stage. You got Cypress Hill. Shout out to the legendary Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
Maybe like maybe Rick James smoked a joint on stage or something. But Pakalika would be up there with a big ass joint or a vaporizer. He was like the first person that I've seen.
Dude, he had some of the greatest freaking what he wore on stage, the masks and everything like that. It just fucking insane. Well, first off, what ended, if you can talk about what happened to him?
He had asthma his whole life. So he was like, as asthmatic. He always had an asthma inhaler. And so he switched to smoking out of the vaporizer a lot. He wouldn't catch him smoking much bong rips, Yeah. He was always smoking out of a joint, vaporizer, little pipes. And I guess one day he was at his house smoking and he started having a cough. And the coffee didn't stop and he had an asthma attack, suffered into a brain aneurysm. So, yeah, in Hermosa Beach, too, he died smoking weed the way he wanted to go out. So,
holy shit.
Trip out on that.
How old was he?
He was older, man. He was born in 1969, I believe.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
He was OG. When I first started hanging out with D-Look and them, D-Look goes, yo, put some pants on. We're getting picked up. We're going to the club. Pakalika would pull up in a 69 Cadillac, all white, 4-door, and two skaters would jump in. He'd have his hair all crazy, a jacket to his knees, spray paint with boots. He looking like a Blondie backdrop.
Holy shit.
His style was crazy. And we go right to the club. And the first time I went, I think was like this club Joseph. There's some like Grammy weekend. Everyone and their mom was trying to get Jamie Foxx. Shout out to the Wu-Tang, one of my favorite bands. I saw the RZA, the Jizza. I'm like, look at the Wu-Tang. And they always told me, hey, you're going to see a lot of people act cool. Don't get to all starstruck. So I was just like, I just kept it myself. And we got in right away. He's all, you with these two? Right in, boom.
No,
and I can hear them saying, we're out of here. They're letting them in before me. And I was like, well, this fool Pac's got some, he's got some pull.
He's got some fucking pull, dude.
And I saw Justin Timberlake in there back in the like 2002, 2003 era.
Yeah.
Hollywood was cracking. It was different era. And I had to go to the bathroom, right? So I go to the bathroom, and I'm remembering what he said. I saw all kinds of celebrities. I'm like, just keep it going. Go to the bathroom. And they go, oh, someone's in there. Hold on a second. The guy comes out. It's Mike Tyson.
Fuck
I
off,
lost
dude.
it. I was like, Mike Tyson, what's up, dude? And he looks at me. He's like, what's up, man? He gives me a big old hug. He hugs me. He's like, I love you too, man. I went to the bathroom. I was like, that's crazy. I come out. 2 security guards just kick me right, whoop, pick me up. How'd you get in wearing that? I'm wearing like skaters, ripped pants, just skateboard hat to the side, full-blown gutter rat. And they're like, how'd you get in here? I'm like, oh, I'm with Pac. And then Pac came and got me back in. He's like, what'd I tell you? What'd you do? I was like, man, Mike Tyson's in here. He's like, what? He didn't even check. Got me back in. He's all, Tyson's in here. Pulls out his little pocket, had a little clip of fat, the lemon bud. It was the lemon back in the day.
Yeah.
And it would smell like pine sol. You couldn't get this weed. He starts smoking this bud, and I can watch it going over to Mike Tyson's section. Next thing you know, the guy come over to me like, yo, you the fan that was with Tyson? You got some of that shit we were trying to smoke. I was like, hell yeah, Pac. And Pac, we went over there, smoked with Mike Tyson the rest of the night. Lionel Richie was complaining. It was, I woke up the next morning like, wow, this is, what a lifestyle. 2003, I was like 22, 23 at the time.
Sitting there blazing with Tyson.
Blazing with Tyson and smoking out to where Lionel Richie had to leave.
Why?
Because it was too much smoke. He was in the section that was behind. It was right there. It was too much. Pac was just getting it.
Holy
and then when
shit.
another story with Pacalica, when they didn't get rehired or whatever it's called when you get kicked off a label.
Yeah.
So they were on Capitol Records back in the day. And they got like a new president, and the president just cleared the roster over there. So when they got the boot, Pac went to the top of Capitol Records, sparked one, walked down all the stairs, went on every level, and just smoked out the whole shit.
Just walked down the entire thing, just blazing down.
Smoking out the whole Capitol building. Boom.
Holy shit, dude.
He was amazing. He'd lie to us. We'd be in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Where back in the day, that it was like cocaine or something. Weed was really bad.
Yeah.
They couldn't have no weed, and they would always say, "Come on, Kings, no weed in the building." Pac came up with the invention, the vape bros, where they had the box with the little string to it, and he just blazing the whole time on stage. They could smell, but they just couldn't be like, "What is that?"
They're like, "What?" Yeah.
It's a machine, fog machine kind of thing. So coming out of 2022 with the big blower, I represent that. That goes out to Pacalica right there, because he's like the main runner of smoking weed on stage. We just took it to a new level. You know?
Holy shit, dude. He would be loving that. He's looking down for sure, loving that shit, man. Damn, so legendary. Man, that just like hearing all of these little bits and pieces of stories from your life. He was a
Power Ranger. You know, he was in the Power Rangers too, right? Those
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was a Power Ranger. The bad guys that would come out in the big old monster outfits.
Pac was?
Pac was in the Power Rangers. He was in Janet Jackson videos. He did like Miller Lite commercials. Billboard 100 dancer for like the Billboard Awards.
Yeah, he's such a good dancer.
Yeah, he's in movies and stuff. He was
quite
the character.
How did he end up? Do you know how he ended up teaming up with Kotton Mouth Kings?
From what I heard, one of the guys seen him at the Wax Museum at the Hollywood.
Yeah,
doing meme,
Madame Tussauds, right?
Miming like a what is that? The mimes?
Yeah.
Not a funny meme, but like
the
mimes. You know?
Yes, yeah.
And he's like pop locking kind of. And they're like, whoa, they kind of approach him like, yo, you want to be in a band? Gave him like a pound of weed, and then next you know, he was like, he brought like the hip hop to Kotton Mouth King. So you watch that video Bump, him and Bobby V, they scratch down and Pac starts pop locking. It's just like that element of dancing and DJing and with the MC. So yeah, he had a lot of credibility. Pacalica. Black Eyed Peas loved him. I remember when we played his memorial, all kinds of dancers came out, like the dudes from breakdancing. What are these? The chart, whatever that those kids were big back in the day. Those little dance. Crews.
Yeah.
Forgot their name, but they were there doing that dance, and like those clowns that get all crumped and stuff.
No way, man.
He was well loved in that community.
When did he pass?
Shit, I think like 2013, I believe.
Fuck, that long ago. So young too, man.
2012, 2013, yeah.
Such a young dude. I mean, dude, how old was he? So 79, 89, 99, 2000. Dude,
he'd always say he's 40s. As old as the hills.
I mean, shit, man. But
and I'd be like, how old are the hills? He's like, as old as me.
Damn, that's fucking crazy, dude. So when you started making your own music, what was that tour like? Right, you first initially toured with Cotton Mouth King,
Yeah,
right,
it's
doing that.
definitely a different. It's like I did it backwards,
Yes, yeah,
You're going
yeah.
out to riding on a bus, catered. You got the M&Ms, the green ones in the green char. Yellow. No, I'm just kidding. But
I know what you said.
sold out shows, and then when we did that, the DGAF record, it wasn't that. We were in a van. Sometimes we were in like a Blazer in this one, or a Suburban, 2 different cars. Yeah, it was definitely not the same.
But still, it was yours.
Yeah. And headlining tour, we made it all the way pretty much till the end, and then there was an incident in Wisconsin, right down the street from where Jeffrey Dahmer lived.
Fucking Dahmer.
At this place called the what is it? The Eagle Ballroom or something like that. Yeah, Eagle, the Rave, the
Okay.
Rave. It's a haunted venue. It's like 3 or 4 stories. There's 5 different stages. We played there, and the night before the guys were partying, and they brought some girls to the show, and St. Dog's greeting them and like, oh, hi, and one of the guys goes, they came with some dudes too, and the guy's like, hey, light my cigarette, bitch. And Saint's like, dude, don't talk to girls like that. He's like, well, these are my girls. And then Saint just boom, socked his friend, and when he socked his friend, he slipped. And then the little homie Gillies came running up to get the guys, like, hey, you guys need to go. Saint came in for another blow, boom, hit Gillies, blasted him open, and he had just gotten a fight back home. So his head was like, before he came on tour, he had 57 stitches across his head. He got a metal plate.
Fuck?
He shouldn't have been on tour, but he just got hit, boom. And then that's how that tour ended. That was that first headlining tour. Yeah, it was pretty intense.
That it ended from there?
Yeah, I kind of went solo after that.
Yeah.
Couldn't deal with like having to depend on other people, because
Yeah.
you could put all your eggs in one basket, and then one person cracks an egg, and then the omelet's spoiled. However the saying goes, it's like
100%.
when I started doing the solo stuff, it was I'm on time. I got my rhymes. I got to worry about no one forgetting their stuff, or it was a lot easier.
You're more than on time. You're early.
Yeah,
And I respect that.
for sure.
Yeah, it's
And then Suburban Noise Records and Brad X, who was like the mastermind behind Cotton Mouth, he got in a sick one and started like making accusations, and like it got real ugly with them. They had a huge divorce, and at the time it was right when Pac died, and there's like a whole bunch of shit going down, and I kind of just like thought to myself, I got to ride with like Cotton Mouth. That's who brought me in. I didn't like care about the business side.
Yeah.
But shout out to Kevin Zinger. They went to court, all that stuff, and he came out, he didn't do nothing wrong, and Brad was looking for some more publicity or some crazy shit. So like he ended up being the bad guy and sold the whole catalog underneath Kotton Mouth Kings, like sold it all.
He owned the rights?
He owned half of it, a lot of it, yeah. Well over 6 figures. I heard he sold it all and screwed out a lot of the other guys and screwed over a lot of the other artists on the label.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah. Drove Ubers for a living. No one really knows where he's at now, but
Dude, that's like
scandalous.
I mean, just imagine putting all your hard effort into this music and years of touring and building, who the Kotton Mouth Kings are, and then this fucking asshole comes in and just sells the catalog.
Yeah, well, Brad X was like, he was, you remember the Jenny Jones show?
Of course, yeah.
He was Johnny Bravo.
What the fuck?
Remember Johnny Bravo?
Of course.
That's Brad X from Kotton Mouth Kings. Johnny Bravo, yep, he was that character. So he's kind of like always been in that limelight, and he had punk bands like Doggy Style and what was his other band? Forgot. But yeah, he's always been in the scene. And then when he started, like, he helped a lot with like No Doubt get started, doing a lot of stuff with them and different artists. He was signed to Eazy-E too back in the day.
Fuck,
His
man.
band Doggy Style was signed to Ruthless Records, I believe, with Eazy-E. So he knows how that business goes, and throughout the years, there he goes. He got a pill habit.
Yep.
I was on tour. He started a whole new label. I was with them, United Family Music. I got it tatted on my forehead. I went all in with those dudes, and I was doing solo music, and it was it was so fun. And just kind of seeing him sleeping all day, and money wasn't right, shit wasn't going down, and quitting shows, not starting a tour, and then the first night, like, oh, we can't do it. We got to finish the record. I was like, you're out here promoting the record. Yeah, it was some bad shit. So I kind of just departed with them around 2016, back to doing on my own, which luckily I pulled it off, did their solo record and stuff, and then got back with Kevin Zinger and Suburban Noise Records, and they've always been helping me since the jump. So I kind of like was just even lucky to be still able to mess with them, So
Absolutely.
it's been a long, crazy journey with all that music stuff. People be stabbing you in the back. It is a ugly business for sure.
Yeah, see, that's not something that's talked about enough, right? In the
Nah.
music or the movie industry, right? It's like you talk about all the glitz and the glamour, and we put these people on pedestals, but all the bullshit, drama, and the backstabbing that goes
Jealousy
into it.
and egos. Egos alone.
Ego.
Ego's a big killer too. Like I stopped messing with one of the dudes because his ego was getting in the way, and like we weren't at where we were before in 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
You're not selling out shows or playing little bars. You got to kind of humble yourself out.
Of course.
A bit, you know, and that's why I started messing with the guys in the first place, because they were so humble and cool and would talk to anybody who was anybody. Like,
Yeah.
everyone was invited. And when it started getting like, yo, don't take a picture, or this weed's whack, or just being rude to people, I kind of like started shying away from them and like doing my own thing. And some of them I learned, you know, and humbled out, reached back out to me. So I'm probably going to do some more work with them, getting something cracking with them. And like D-Lo, he ran Kotton Mouth Kings by himself for a while and was like hired other people, and it was like still pushing. So I give it up to that dude.
How are the Kotton Mouth Kings doing now?
That's what I'm saying. It was just D-Lo by himself pretty much. Because, yeah, he kind of went off and hired a different band and just would do like his stuff. Like, what would you do if, you know, the other dude from the band sold everything?
I'd fucking kill him.
Right.
I'd fucking kill him.
And at first when I seen it, I was like, man, how's he doing? How's he going to call it Kotton Mouth King? It was just him. But it's like, I call it DGAF and it's just me, but I started it. So he probably had the same argument. And he's recently reached out too. I had a falling out with him for a while because I felt like, you know, when you can never get bigger than the band or than you work for, it kind of was like that kind of thing, like jealousy a little bit, and like shutting me down at the gathering of Juggalos, or I was supposed to do a song on the big stage, and like he shut it down. I was like, well, that's the homie who put me on. So I got all butthurt about it, and I kind of let it go for a while. And then just knowing how short life is, and I worked with Richter doing this last King Click record, and I did one with him, so why not give it a shot with D-Lo and make something happen?
Absolutely. So
bring back those old school Kotton Mouth vibes.
D-Lo and Richter,
they don't talk at all. I guess they owe each other money, or someone owes someone money with that. But we've tried to get them together to do it, and they're just like, nope, you couldn't pay me $1 million to work with that dude.
That's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah. Even ICP made a whole podcast thing like this about it. It's like it was like the Geraldo Rivera show, like the rise and fall of the Kotton Mouth Kings. They interviewed me about it too, and like it was shout out to Violent J and Shaggy Tudo. They were just trying to get Kotton Mouth back together again and
100%
play the gathering, and so
it didn't work.
It didn't work out.
You know, when you spend so much time with someone and you travel all over the world, and you like it's a very common story in bands, right?
Yeah.
It's so rare to have something last, you know, to the end, right? I mean, and then sometimes they get back together. I mean, look at Blink-182, right? Tom DeLonge left, right? Matt Skiba comes in. They fucking come out 2 albums. I think one of them goes #1. All of this shit, right? But then Mark gets cancer, right? Puts things into reality, and now they're back together, you know? So it's like, you can never say never, but, you know, I do understand that sometimes you just gotta part your ways. But if someone sold my catalog, I don't know what the fuck. I'd lose my fucking mind.
They were booked for a show in Vegas for like a 420 event, huge festival, and a lot of the guys showed up, but the only one that didn't was Brad X, the one who got paid, who got the money. He didn't even show up. So that was like the last draw of that I've heard.
Jesus,
just kind of
how does Kotton Mouth Kings even perform without Richter?
Well, I get Loke just does his parts. I never saw the show with just Loke, so I think he had like hired some people to sing along, and he just do his parts.
Wow. Well, and but he owns the rest of
I guess
what KMK is.
Yeah.
Wow, man. I hope one day they can figure their shit out, man.
Yeah, I think he's reached out, and I think I'm gonna try to help him the best I can, and
you should, man.
Make a song with
Life's
him.
too short, bro.
Do a show. Maybe get it. He's even talking about doing some tours. He just did a solo tour as D-Lo, so that looked like it was successful. I'm just gonna give it. Why not?
How is it all these years later? Because like, you know, the top of KMK and everything that you guys did was like 2002 to 2000.
Probably 2009, 2010. That's when people start saying that they fell off.
Yeah, that happens.
Stop listening. And you know what it is too? It's like you got 5 people in a band, and when you break down the cheese so much, it starts getting smaller and smaller.
Of course.
The shows start getting smaller and smaller. The checks start getting smaller and smaller. What next thing you do is get the band smaller and smaller.
100%.
So
yeah, but it'd be great if it was just D-Lo and Richter, right?
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
Like that would definitely fucking work, right?
And they were doing it for a while too. They were doing it just for a while, just them. It was working out, and I mean, let's just say drugs have a lot to do with people's situations.
100%.
And it's hard to work with someone that's on drugs, especially like methamphetamines and like.
Bro, it'll fuck
crazy.
everything up.
Yeah.
It will fuck everything up. Yeah, that's.
I mean,
that's
I know how to
probably-
party and keep it in the pocket for the most part, especially now that I'm older.
Yeah.
I used to be able to. I was nuts.
Of course, I get it.
So many stories. I got scars and tattoos. I don't even know how I got them, but nowadays I kind of just do give a fuck. So I keep it like, kind of like a little mask, but I know what's going on, you know, and he's telling when someone's tweaking or doing something different
100%.
or shit ain't right, you know.
No, it's not, dude. And the older you get, man, the worse it is. There's one thing about having fun, right? But you know, especially something like methamphetamine, what it does to the brain, bro. It's not a good thing.
I'm not trying to hang around someone that's trying to take apart the refrigerator.
No.
It's not the business.
It's like, what the fuck is going on? Why
And then
you
it makes you, once you're around someone that even looks like that, you kind of get thrown into the mix. Like, I don't really care what people think about me, but I don't want them to think I'm a piece of shit drug.
No, but that's the
you
thing.
know?
You do give a fuck.
I do. I do my drugs, and I'll help your grandma across the street. Man.
Exactly, 100%. You know, let me ask you this, right? Being so tatted, right? Because like I've got a lot of tattoos myself, right? And I remember being a kid. You know, my father never wanted me to get tattoos. He passed away when I was 17. By the time I was 18, the first tattoo I got was Jack Goldberg, and when he was born, when he died, right? The irony, right? But and then I started getting sleeved up and shit like that at a very, very early age. But for a long time, I remember when I was a kid, I worked at Starbucks. I had to cover my tattoos. I'd walk into stores. People would follow me around. And it's gotten less and less, and it does still happen, but not to the magnitude it is. Now, I'm sleeved up. I don't have any face tats. And then at that, what is your perception of all of it?
Well, I grew up like in not a good neighborhood, but me and my friends were kind of crazy. So when people look at you, you're like, yo, what the fuck? You looking like, you got a problem, homie? Or what's up? So now when I see someone look at me, it's just like, whoa, did that hurt? I'm like, oh, they're still there. I kind of I love blowing their perception of tattooed people out of the water.
100%.
One that sticks out in my mind, you know, at Ralph's or something, when they start giving away those Monopoly money.
Of course.
Well, I'm waiting in line at Ralph's with all my stuff, and there's like a woman comes up with her daughter, and like I look back, and she puts the daughter behind her, tucks her purse, and just like kind of like, oh
yes.
And I even go, I put the bar there, put the bar down. I'm just like hanging, and they go, oh, here's your Monopoly piece. I was like, oh, I'm not playing, but maybe the nice people behind me will like it. And the little girl goes, yes, can we please? And she said, thank you so much.
There you go.
Like, no problem. So like the next time they see a tattooed person, they might open the door for them. You know, I love blowing people's minds of being a nice person.
I get that, man. I fucking get that to an absolute T. And it is weird, right? It's like that old saying, you don't judge a book by its cover, right? It's like there's so many people out there that do have tattoos, face tattoos, sleeved up, whatever, whole body. And they're some of the most smart, intellectual people on the face of the planet.
I love that.
I mean, dude, look at fucking Joe Rogan, right? The biggest podcaster, comedian, UFC commentator in the world. He's all fucking sleeved up, right? Yeah. And it's like if you just looked at him, you'd think that he was just this thick, tattooed meathead, right? But then you listen to him, and he's one of the most intellectual, thoughtful, egoless human beings on the face of the planet, right? And so it's like we as a society need to stop judging book by its cover, need to stop judging people's Instagrams and social medias for what it is. There's so much deeper ideas, thoughts, perceptions of what a human being truly is. And if you just judge them by the way that they look, doesn't matter if it's tattoos or the color of their fucking skin, you're the idiot. Or I can't say you're an idiot. You're just, you're not educated.
Yeah. I get it's not always nice too. A lot of people, before I open my mouth, they just see me, they think I'm like a Aryan skinhead or some kind of like prisoner, like usually with cops, like, yo, you on parole? I'm like, nope.
Dude.
Like, yo, you on prison? Or I'm like, no, I used to do tattoos. I'm like, Cracker Jacks step their game up, dude. You know, so it hits or misses. Like my mom too, when she first saw me getting tattooed, she was like, they were all against it, but then it's like they're an eclectic son, they like it. It's
of course,
cool.
You're unique. You're different. Yep. You're living your life to the own beat of your drum, right?
And one time too, I was going to be on that show, Deal or No Deal.
Yeah.
And when it got to like the final stage, I guess Howie Mandel got to pick who he wanted. And at the time, I was just like, just had my neck a little bit and a little bit on my face. But he's like, oh no, he's got a weed leaf on his neck. Nope. I don't want to stand next to that guy. And then like I got shut down for
what the fuck?
Yeah, I got shut down for stuff like that. But I was like, oh man, Fuck Howie Mandel.
Seriously, like straight up, dude. Fuck that shit, man.
Yeah,
That would have
right.
been so great to see you on
And
Deal
then
or No
I-
Deal.
And then I saw it was either Wipeout or and I was like, I'm not trying to go get busted up. I'm
Yeah.
too old my shoulders hurt watching that show. So I'm straight on Wipeout. But I love Deal or No Deal. Let's do it. But
Of course.
I ended up watching the show, and they had like some dude with some piercings from his nose to here and like a cross tattoo on his face. So they were looking for alternative people to have on the show. I just was a little bit too alternative, bro.
Yeah, too early.
Too
Too
early,
early, right? Because like the perceptions of tattoos today is way different than it was even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So many people have tattoos. And then face tattoos are definitely becoming a lot more popular in society.
Yeah, they got tattoos, sleeved Barbie dolls and stuff now.
Yeah,
Sleeved
yeah.
toys.
That's crazy. Really?
Yeah.
Pull that up, Tyler. Let me see that shit.
Barbie dolls with tattoos.
Shut the hell up. Really? Let's check this shit out. What was your first face tat?
You know what? I think it was I got DGAF tattooed on my face. I believe, yeah. Oh no, I got on the sides of my ears like faith and love on like the sides of my ears towards like the jawline.
Holy shit, is it up? Oh shit, no way. Freaking, we're looking at tattooed Barbie dolls.
Yeah, look
right
at that
now.
back piece. Oh, that's tight.
Ah, look at
Oh, I
that
got,
shit.
I got a tramp stamp on. Sick. And it said Ken on it. Did you see that?
Ow, I just hit my tooth on the microphone. That's crazy. Dude, I remember I was probably 16, 17 years old, and I was going to go get a tattoo in Venice. And thankfully I didn't. I was going to get like this stupid Chinese freaking symbol, man.
That's where I got my first tattoo was Venice.
Venice?
Yep.
What
On my
was it?
leg. I got it on my leg. It was the dude named Wolf too. His name was standard issue. His name was Wolf, and it was like a skull banner. And it's like fresh off at 18 years old. It was like a $75 tattoo with a $10 tip.
Let's
Went
go.
back there a couple times to get tatted up.
It's so crazy to see the evolution of tattoos now. Like people like what Nico Hurtado does. Like it's fucking insane. And one thing that I always tell people, like younger kids, when they ask me like, oh, about tattoos or whatever, I'm like, fuck yeah, get tattooed, but wait till you're 25. And the reason that I say that is like I was talking about earlier, like the frontal cortex of your brain is not fully developed. And especially when you're younger, you don't have a lot of money for the most part. Most people don't, right?
Shit and scratch.
Yeah, exactly, right? So wait till you have some real life experience, some money in your pocket to get a quality fucking tattoo. And even if your mind changes as you get older, as long as it looks fucking good, like shit, man, you're a lot better off than, dude. I got money, power, respect around my fucking wrist, right? Because when I was in my early 20s, I was selling a lot of fucking drugs, and Tony.
Oh, that's where I know
Montana.
you from.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. But this motherfucker writes money. He puts power really small and then respect all big right here. Like just like a terrible freaking tattoo. And then earlier you were talking about like, you went to a party, woke up, you had a tattoo, you don't remember, right? I remember before I got this freaking Star David, this guy tattooed a freaking turntable on me. But it was the most wonky looking turntable that you could ever fucking see. And I'm lucky that, the person was even able to cover it up this, and I had to get it done like 3 freaking times.
It ended up just being a record player. That's I've had those stories too. And like you're saying, the level of art nowadays, I wish, well, a lot of people get re-tattooed. Like you could go over the arm.
Dude, you could get that shit fucking
full blown stuff. It's crazy. The amount of ink they put into it with the guns and like the soundless guns.
It's insane, dude. Now they don't.
nuts.
Now they just have like lithium ion batteries in them. No fucking cord. It's like this right here, literally like this size right here. It's truly incredible. And yeah, the cover ups now, dude. I when I was probably 25, 26 years old, I don't know why I wanted to get a tattoo of my dad and my mom right here. But the guy that he tattooed at Roman Abrego's tattoo shop.
Roman, he's the homie.
Roman's amazing, and I should have fucking went to him. But I'm drawing a blank on this fuckhead's name. But he did really good tattoos 50% of the time.
Oh, jeez.
Because he was fucked up on drugs, right? And I didn't know that. And so I literally paid $2,000 for this tattoo of my dad's face that he didn't want to put it here. So he convinced me to put it right next to my fucking dick, right? Sorry, apologize. But it's like literally like this big face, right? And it was so bad and so fucking wonky. And I'm in the middle of getting it covered up. And like length, I'll just show you. You can like see his mouth still a little bit here, right? But
that is close.
But it's like, it's fucking,
It's like, what time is it?
It's like, dude, it was so terrible. I have like one more session and it'll be
Damn.
fully gone, right? And thankfully, like this girl was able to do it because I was either gonna get it removed, right, or just get it covered up, and like it won't be as good as like something that doesn't have a tattoo on it, right? Fresh skin, right? But this chick she's really freaking good. And
tattooing over tattoos hurt even more,
bro, it's terrible. But now they have this stuff called Dr. Numb.
Yeah,
And I figured out the hack, right? What you do is like, say you're getting tattooed on your stomach. You fucking slabber it all over your stomach. You take saran wrap and you wrap it really tight 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours before you get tattooed.
Yeah.
You go in there for the first 3 hours, you will not feel a fucking thing at all. Like, and that's just like
I've done that too. But then the next 3 hours are just
that's
excruciating, yeah.
just so freaking terrible. But like I'm a bitch when it comes to tattoos, and as I get older, I feel like they hurt worse.
Yes,
like so much worse.
Because we got older skin and less drugs in our system. Usually I'll be,
bro, I'd be fucking so fucked up and take Xanax and just pass the fuck out, right? But yeah, the older you get, the more it definitely hurts. But quality tattoos. That's something that I try to tell people when they ask, because I've made my own mistakes. I don't have the worst tattoos in the world. I don't have the best tattoos in the world. But if I could do it all over again, I definitely would.
I got some cover-ups in my future. I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, bro.
I'm not talking about it, but let's go.
Yeah, I know,
I'm ready
dude.
now.
I heard that, I don't know if this is a true story. Now, can you look this up, Tyler? Post Malone paid like an anesthesiologist to pass him, like put him to sleep, and he got fucking blasted. Don't know if this is true.
Probably.
But
he's got a crazy, he went all out, huh?
He went all the fuck out. But like, I know some people say, oh, that's a bitch move. You got to feel pain. Fuck that, dude. I'd rather not feel the pain. Have you seen this new stuff too? Is it true?
Post Malone explained why he got a tattoo at the dentist's office, and it makes perfect sense. That's like a big headline.
Okay, let me see it. Will you pull it up on the screen?
White Iverson.
Shit, man. His story is freaking nuts. Like, literally nuts. All right, let's see. Tattoos artist says, inked on his skin. Okay.
Yeah, so it might.
Yeah, I think
that's full blown rich cheating status.
That is rich
baller status.
But come on, bro.
I would do it too. If
I would fucking do it too. I would 100%.
Take a look at this.
Yeah, look at this. All right, so there's a video playing right now of Post Malone, and he's at like a dentist's office. He's getting tattooed. Fuck, dude. Look at.
I'm jealous.
Damn, bro, that shit's crazy.
That's a long video.
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah,
Here we go. All right, so right now he's at tattoo. Damn. So what is he at the dentist?
It probably could better be a
like
nice spot where it hurts, like the ribs, or the stomach, the back.
I know.
He's going ribs, stomach, back.
Do you think they're gonna knock him out? No. He's awake. Oh, wait, is he sleeping?
Oh, they're blocking his face. They can't see a sleeping Malone.
So dumb.
Sleeping Malone.
He's passed the fuck out, dude.
Absolutely.
He's definitely passed out. Damn, though. So he's literally at the dentist's office, gotten 2 or 3 people tattooing him at once, and he's knocked the fuck out. Hell yeah, dude. Look at that. Oh, yeah, he definitely got put out. They didn't show his
Did you see the
face.
video of him falling recently?
Bro.
That looked like it hurt. But it wasn't that bad. But he was, hello.
Bro.
But what happened was that the music was still going, so he was lip singing.
I know.
Posty.
I know. Why is it? Fuck, man. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But that's crazy. That is some rich shit,
That's
baller
baller
shit.
shit, yeah.
But let me tell you, if I had the extra $10,000,
I'd do it.
I would do it in a fucking heartbeat.
Fill my legs up. I gotta go for my legs are pretty empty, so I gotta get
Bro,
there.
you can fucking have like 6 people tattooing you at once. But have you seen this? So now when I get
They
tattooed,
could be doing a lot of other stuff, dude.
Yeah.
You'll be out.
playing with your little pecker. No, but it's this. So they put it on burn victims, and it's like this. It's like not saran wrap, but it goes over the tattoo, right? And so what it does, because like back in the day when I get tattooed, you'd fucking have to put the lotion and the shit on, let it scab up, let the scab fall off. But you put this. Can you look that up too? It's like fuck, what the fuck is it called? It's like a wrap that goes over burn victims.
You leave it on there.
And you leave it on there for a
done
week.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you've
I've
done
done
that,
that.
right? And
And
so
it-
instead of scabbing,
You
right,
just peel it off and it's healed.
and it's fucking healed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's the greatest invention ever.
My friend who did a lot of my head, with like a metal finger on the top here and some stuff on the front, he had a numbing ink.
Okay.
So there was numbing stuff in the ink. So as you go along, it starts numbing the area exactly where you're doing it. And
That's brilliant.
I fell asleep during that, but
That's
without
brilliant.
the anesthesia, my own anesthesia.
Yeah. Yeah. What is?
It looks like it's called Sanoderm.
Yes, it's called Sanoderm. Yeah, that's bro. It's incredible. If you ever get tattooed, make sure you use Sanderm. I don't know why they never used it before. I don't know if it was invented before or whatever the hell it was, but these past 3 tattoo experiences that I've had with this cover up, it changed the fucking game, because that was like the worst of it. Like, you know, always getting scabby and just everything. And just a week later you take it off. And because what that does is it protects the skin. And so instead of hardening that, whatever the fuck is going on in your body when a scab happens, look that up. I want to see what that I want to see that, because I feel like an idiot talking about it right now.
Get infected. Like my friend had this huge line on his ribs, and he just got it and didn't. I was like, "You're supposed to cover." He's like, "No, man, don't touch it. Don't touch it." I'm like, "All right, don't take it from me or nothing." I don't have any tattoos, and he just let it go and fell asleep on his bed with his little dog there, and the dog hairs got in on it, and he like went to wash it, and straight like infected nastiness.
Shit, dude, that's nasty fucking tattoos.
It wasn't a lion anymore. It was like a lion.
So, but instead of scabbing up all that, whatever the hell the stuff is in a scab. Now, I wanted to see like when a body scabs up, like what happens. What happens when you die?
That's a sick nautical star, bro.
I know, bro. That shit looks nasty as fuck. And that's always the crazy part too. Is like when it scabs up, it just looks so freaking gross. All right, I'll read this. The tattooed area is a wound, and your body forms a scab during the healing process to attempt to prevent infection by walling the wound off from outside germs. When the skin fully regenerates underneath, the scab will gently fall off, and moisturizing and cleansing properly will support this process. I say, fuck that. Put Sanoderm on, and your life will fucking change.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah, but man, you get a tattoo on the face, you're going to wear Sanoderm on your fucking face?
Yeah. I don't know, you just wrap it around your head.
Yeah, literally.
Put a beanie on.
That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. That the top tattoo. What was that one you said earlier?
I had it was.
Oh fuck, you got.
It was United Family Music, and that was a king of the cover up too. It's like a, ring around the roses.
I love that, dude. I love that.
Jesus.
I love that. So, how did you get involved in the cannabis industry?
Probably, obviously with Kotton Mouth King, but just the love of cannabis. And when I was younger, I was a little hyperactive in school and learning disabilities, so they tried to put me on anything under the sun. They decided on a drug called Silert.
Okay.
And I looked that up. No.
Look it up.
Look if I'm entitled to anything for taking that in the mid-90s.
Look it up, young Tyler.
No,
hey, look it up, old man.
It's like a Ritalin kind of thing too, but it would make me like zone out, and it broke me out in zits, and I was just like, I feel like and I was already smoking weed at the time, but I was like, I feel like I'm just smoking weed. So I would act like I'd take the Silert and just smoke weed, go to school and learn, and I'd pay attention. It'd like calm me down and pay attention. So I've been smoking since 12, 13 years old. I'm 42 now. So I've been smoking for a long time.
30 years, man. What does it say?
Yeah, it looks like it's no longer available.
See?
Yeah. Silert's a prescription medicine used to treat the symptoms of ADHD, which is bullshit. What's so crazy with ADHD, right, is they go, okay, right, you go to school, right, and these kids are bouncing off all over, like bouncing everywhere, right? But then they go and play a video game and they're fucking locked in.
Yeah.
Right? The issue is not that they have, I'm not saying ADHD is not a real thing. It's just that when you have a hyperactive personality, right, you need to fucking be doing things that interest you.
Yeah, exactly. It's not ADHD. It's I don't want to do this.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Same thing for me. So funny that you said that, because when I was 12 years old, 13 years old, I was prescribed 10 milligram Adderall, right? Which is fucking nuts to think about. That's what they gave little kids back then. I'm sure they still do. And I did not like it because it made me feel like I was in a fucking box, right? It just made me like this. So I'd pretend to take it, and then I would throw it in my sock drawer. And I'm telling you, I did this for well over a year. And then I talked to my parents and told them, and they said, you don't have to be on it anymore and shit like that. But, it was just, it made me feel weird and uncomfortable. Now as an adult, I've taken Adderall, and it's a completely different story. But I think
I'll fall asleep. When I got big Adderall, I was like, "I'll do this. You'll create a whole album in one night." I took it and fell asleep.
Yeah, well, you're fucking crazy.
They're like, "Oh, you needed it."
I'm sure.
Well, yeah, with cannabis, I just kind of the love for it too. A lot of homies I grew up with, living with, they've always been on the forefront of growing and having some of the craziest grows from Humboldt County to your local neighbor indoor next door. And a lot of them over in Oklahoma right now. And Oklahoma's like the gold rush of weed.
Fuck yeah.
There's 20 dispensaries on each block. It's just crazy. So I never thought about it as like a ambassador. I just always been a weed head, and I've always been attracted to the weed. So wherever it was at, well, you'll find me. And then like, that's how I kind of became an ambassador for it, or just like all about it. It's just getting high. It might sound bad. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I wanted to cure my glaucoma or whatever, but I smoked that shit to get high and to feel like,
fuck yeah. No, as man, you know, there's a thing, right? I think weed is fantastic, right? But it affects everyone differently, right?
Exactly.
You know, there are people out there that smoke weed that are fucking lazy as shit. There's people that smoke weed that get tired. There's people that smoke weed, it alleviates their pain, their headaches. There's people that smoke weed and it gets them, you know, fucking pumped. There's people like me, if I like smoking like a sativa, right? Like if I'll go in the sauna or whatever, and it makes you evaluate your fucking life, right? And that is why I like mushrooms so much, right?
Yeah,
I'm a
microdose.
huge 100, even microdose and a macro dose, you know, depending on the situation, right? For me, like psychedelics, because you know cannabis is a psychedelic, it helps deflate the ego, and you know it's like a thing that you're talking about earlier, like Brad X and all these motherfuckers, right? That your ego gets so large, and you think that your shit does not stink, when in reality that is not really how life is, and you need to be able to evaluate these things, and that's why like cannabis and psilocybin. They especially for me, and I know for a lot of people, it pushes those things to the front, right? Things that you're constantly trying to hide from.
You know, I always tripped on with mushrooms is like, who's the first person, like the indigenous people, to be like, yo, let's eat this, and that's what they found out when they ate it. They evaluated their camp and what was wrong with their rocks over here. Or like, imagine the first person to find out mushrooms were like
incredible.
Magical.
Old man, look it up. Let's see.
That's crazy,
dude.
And it's legal in Colorado with mushrooms, and
yeah,
a lot of doctors and top ranked lawyers or businessmen, they take mushrooms and they go into their meetings and they're just spot on. They're firing at all cylinders. It's like, that's their coffee.
100%. Yeah, I love taking microdose. Let's see what it is.
It looks like the chalcolithic tyrolean iceman Utsi carried several types of fungi on his person. I've actually heard of Utsi. He's a pretty well known historian.
That's a tight
like
name.
Historic figure.
So the Chaco-Catholic Tyrolean Iceman Otzi carried several types of fungi on his person. Now, is this a magic mushroom, psychedelic? Who invented psychedelic mushrooms? No, well, Albert Hoffman was LSD.
That's good to know too, though.
Yeah, well, yeah. So
that was my drug of choice growing up.
LSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$3. You're high for 7 hours,
dude. Insane. So when was the first? Let's see this. The first mention of hallucinogenic mushrooms in European medical literature was in the London Medical and Physical Journal, 1799. A man served psilocybe, I don't know how to pronounce that, mushrooms he had picked for breakfast in the London Green Park to his family. Yeah, but I think it goes way farther back. Like indigenous cultures have been taking it for generations, right?
Like Indians and stuff, and like peyote.
100%.
Sit down and like, yo, we need to reevaluate how we're living right now.
Absolutely. Ayahuasca, you know, another one, DMT. Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah.
It is.
It'll answer your questions. You go into it with a question, it'll answer it for you.
100%. 100%. I know I've told this story so many times before, so sorry guys and girls, but you know, about 5 years ago, I had been flying to visit my mom in Jersey with my wife, and I started feeling a lot of stomach pain. Long story short, I had internal bleeding. And I ended up being in the hospital for almost 2.5, 3 weeks. I was put on life support. I literally thought I was going to die. Trach, the whole fucking nine, right? My wife right by my side. And I had made peace with that. I was going to die, and my wife truly thought I was going to die as well. And what had happened, how I actually got out of it, it's kind of crazy. I'm on life support and all this shit. And my wife says, I'm going to go. I'll be back in like an hour or two. And I was like, yeah, just kind of like nodded to her. And obviously this was going to happen, but it was just so powerful for me. She went and picked up my brother and sister. They both flew in. And the moment they walked in, it was just like the weirdest thing. It gave me like this energy and this power to just kind of fight through it. And I ended up getting out, right? And I ended up living. But when I got out, when you make peace that you're really going to die and then you don't, it was very hard for me. It fucked with my head so bad. And I got really into a bad state of depression and suicidal thoughts, and like it was just eating me alive to the point where I was in New Orleans for some work, and I had a Britney moment, dude. I shaved my fucking hair off, my eyebrows, my beard, the whole fucking night. I went crazy, and I was like this close from offing myself. And my buddy Alex Weston had been saving some DMT for me. And he goes, Brock, when you are ready, you will know. And so I got back and I hit him up, and I go to the studio where he is, and it's just him and I take the first hit, the second, third, fourth. By the time I've hit the fourth hit, I'm into this other fucking dimension. I'm laying on this bed and I'm looking up, and I see my dad's face, and like I told you, he passed when I was 17, and I was like, Dad, I can't fucking do this anymore. I just can't. And he goes, Brock, right now is not your time. You have a lot more to live.
Wow.
And he just kept on saying that and saying that. And I remember coming out of it, and it was the weirdest thing, dude. I get out of it, and all of that negative thought, all of that, thoughts of wanting to off, all that just dissipated. And I had this newfound feeling to fucking live and fight and, and deal with it. And it's just like so strange that we don't properly use these tools in society. We want to give them this antidepressant, this up or this down, or to solve all these problems, when it's like we have the tools right at our dispense, right?
Yeah,
But
3 big hits of DMT and figure it out. You can stop wars.
100%.
Sometimes, you know what, to be honest, nitrous oxide's like that. And that's a crazy story.
Yeah.
Thank God you're still here.
Thank you, brother.
But that's like with nitrous. It's the same way. Hit that and you think about, well, we could solve world hunger like this.
100%.
Why don't you stop, everyone in the room take a hit of this? Like the DMT, if you hit it right, it's mind altering, but it's also like awakening.
It is.
In a way.
It's so important, man. It's so important. I know psychedelics are not made for everyone, but it could help a lot of people out.
For sure.
It could solve so much depression, anxiety, and it deflates the ego and makes you face the things that you don't want to face. And that is why they are such powerful tools. And I hope as we get older, when we get in our 50s and 60s and 70s, as American, society and within our culture, we start to really look at these. I mean, dude, have you ever heard of Ibogaine?
No.
Ibogaine is like one of the strongest hallucinogenics. We've just pull up Ibogaine so I can read it to him. But like I said earlier, we have a huge opiate crisis within America, right? And what are we giving them? Methadone, Suboxone, Subutex. And it's another opiate that's just fucking stacking on top. And yes, it has changed people's lives 100%, but it doesn't get to the root of the issue. Let me read what Ibogaine is. Can you just type in Ibogaine I'll just read this. Ibogaine may work in reversing the effects of opiates on gene expression with resulting impacts on neuroreceptors, returning them to pre-addiction condition. What that actually means, right, is there's places in Mexico, there's places in Panama, there's other places, you go there, and they take you through a very controlled environment with doctors, and it's this super strong hallucinogen, right? And I don't know if you've ever heard or know anyone or have gone through yourself like detox withdrawal from opiates.
Yeah.
It's a fucking bitch. I've gone through it many times. I've personally gone through it in my life, right? When I was younger. But rerouting your brain, your receptors, getting it back to before that pre-addiction, that's not what these other drugs do, right? They just kind of mask the issue, but they don't get to the root of the problem. And this insane hallucinogenic experience that you go through just pushes everything to the fucking front. But the magic is what happens after. Is for a lot of people, it reduces the withdrawal symptoms 80 to 100%, which is better than any other fucking tool. But it resets the brain so that you're looking at these drugs like, what the fuck? Like, it's just not the same. So it gets back.
Is that substance, is that illegal?
It's illegal in America.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Of fucking course it is.
That's crazy. I saw it's illegal in New Zealand.
New Zealand. More and more countries are looking at it, right? It's very intense, man. Very, very intense.
Crazy.
Thing is, though, it's expensive right now. To go to Mexico to have treatment, it's like $5-6 grand. Not a lot of people have that, right? And so we just send our people to rehab and all these things. But like, what happens if we could actually reset the fucking brain?
Yeah, because those users are so wired to that. That's all they know.
That's all they fucking know.
What sucks is like I've known a lot of people that have been on drugs, and when they get off drugs, they're forever stupid, or they just look like they're on drugs. They act, those tendencies don't leave them, even though they've been off the shit for 6 years. They're just 100%. Mentally gone. So if they could switch that, that'd be dope.
It's amazing. Well, within our brain, we have opiate.
We need to hand that out for Halloween.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it would be, and you obviously need someone to guide you through the experience, and it's like so important. But like, we have opiate receptors within our brain. Not a lot of people do know that. Maybe they do, whatever. But when you're constantly flooding them, of course there's going to be so much damage that takes place that to get a person that's been hooked to fucking heroin for 15 fucking years, to get them back to how they were before, it's so fucking rare, man. It's so rare, all the damage it causes. But this one tool right here can fucking help a lot of people. And that's the issue in America. It's like ever since, I believe it was the Nixon administration in 1970, 71, made all of these drugs illegal, right? It changed the fucking game. I mean, because you go back to like the 50s and 60s, they were testing, psilocybin. They were testing
They were
LSD.
putting cocaine in coke.
Do you have that, what I was just looking up?
Jesus.
Ibogaine is classified as a Schedule 1.
Yeah.
Controlled substance.
So it's,
And that was in 1970.
Yep.
Right when Nixon's.
Yep. Ban on all of that shit,
Wow.
dude. All of that shit. It's just fucking absurd. Take this back to your story as we kind of get close to wrapping up. But for you, where is everything at today?
You know what? I just got to keep doing what I've always done. And the more people that come along and start to support it, or, listen to the music or buy the t-shirt, that's dope. But I'm pretty much here to supply that lifestyle to the people who've been here since day one, and the people that have kept supporting me, because a lot of people switched up on them, like different kinds of music and stuff. And they, even if they're 35, or when I met them when they're 16 and now they're in their 30s, I'm still going to bring that raw shit to them, and they're going to love that. So I'm just going to stick to my guns, keep doing what I'm doing. And the more people that come along, that's cool. They are along for the ride. Welcome aboard. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't think, I don't see myself slowing down. I'm having so much fun doing it. And I got a support team. My lady supports me 100% in everything we do. So that comes along with it, having a solid relationship, and, a full freeway Autobahn to go as wherever I want to take it. So it's like, pretty much it's in my hands. And a lot of artists can't say that because they're owned by record labels. And I got ties to Suburban Noise Records, but I'm not bound to anything, so I can just do whatever I want, whenever I want. And that's the freedom of it. And I love it. I don't feel myself as like a failing artist whatsoever. It's just like whatever I want to do, I do. And people seem to like it and support it. So I'm going to keep putting it out for them. And like I said, whoever comes along, welcome aboard.
I love that, man. I've got an off-topic question, right? Are you afraid of death?
You know what? I've never really been afraid of death, but like the thought of it now, yeah, I don't want to die no more. I want to see my kids grow up. I want to see my 4-year-old start talking and get a little better. He's got a really case of autism. He's autistic. It's a real challenge, but I'm up for that challenge, and I want to see him grow. So like, I'm afraid of death, to be honest with you now. I used to push the envelope. I didn't see myself living past 26, 27 at all. And sitting here at 42, still doing the same stuff, most of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Not life-threatening stuff, So, yeah, I'm afraid of death. I think so. I'd be a liar if I sat here and said I wasn't afraid. But I mean, I'm down to die. What's
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. I'm not afraid. I know it's coming. I don't wish it upon me or anybody.
It's a weird thought, right?
Yeah.
It's like there is this thing at the end of whatever the time is in your road, right? That it will happen, right? To all of us. All of us leave this earth.
But I'm not afraid to the point I'm not afraid to live, because a lot of people are so scared to die they don't live.
Yeah.
They're stuck in their own little thing, their comfort zone. Like I'm definitely, and my lady's the same way too, which is a plus. Like we just roam, we do whatever we want to do, what makes us happy, and we live. So we don't, if we die doing what we love to do, then
Let's
so
go.
be it. So
Absolutely.
I'm not afraid of death.
Look how fast that changed.
That back.
That just bring that back, motherfucker.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you, and what is the importance of having a strong woman or man, but for you, a strong woman by your side?
Yeah, well, I've been through a relationship before, and like it feels like every relationship I was in prepared me for this moment, for the perfect one. So like it's everything. If a lot of people can go through life being single or by themselves, so they don't want to share nothing with them. I love being able to share it with them, and the child she brought into the world, and she does the same with the kids I brought into this world. So the fact that she loves my kids unimaginably, like I wouldn't imagine any girl coming in my situation. So I kind of wrote it off, actually. So that I prayed for that moment, and she did too, and we just found each other. So the importance is unexplainable. Like it's like winning the lottery, especially in this time and era with like people. They're out there to get someone that likes. They have a lot of likes, so they have a lot of followers, or they do this, they do that, and it's hard to find someone that likes you purely for who you are. And I'm a kook. Like I'm acting like Jim Carrey 25 seconds out of every minute. So like, you got to find someone that likes that, then I'm in there. So yeah, it's important to have a solid collar, like shoulder blade. I call it like a shoulder blade or another backbone to, not to like rely on, but just to be there for you, and share the goodness in life and go through our struggles together,
It's so important. It's so funny you said backbone, because my wife calls me her backbone and I call her my right brain.
Right? Yeah.
It's like everything, man. And having a strong person that you can go through the ups and downs and all arounds in this very short time span that we do have on this earth is so fucking important. It's so important. And unfortunately, most marriages fail and just people break up. And that's why, earlier I was saying, I don't even know if we're on the podcast, but like, I think a lot of people get married and have kids way too young, right? Not saying it does not work out. I know you had kids you must have been, you were like in your 28, right? So many people have kids in their 20s and get married and do all this shit. And it's just like, slow the fuck down, live your life. Those 20s are so important. Live your life, and wait. Like, and a lot more and more people are waiting nowadays, waiting a little bit older to have kids. Like my brother was 40 and his wife was 40 and they had 2 twins, a boy and a girl. And yeah, it's harder. Your body doesn't move the fucking same. That's just life. But, you have that experience, that real world experience and all of those memories, and you've grown into the person that you are. But if you cut that off too short, so many people don't get to follow their dreams, their passions, and all of that. I'll tell one more story real quick about mushrooms.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So, I go to this big event in Orlando every single year, and it was my wife, myself, my buddy Ron, I think my cousin Zach. We're all at Disney World at Animal Kingdom, and when we go there, we like to eat some fucking mushrooms, right? And so we ate them, and I was tripping, and my wife, or at least I had decided at that moment that we were going to have kids at the end of the year, right? I was telling everyone, and my wife was just going along with it. And my wife had just broke into the makeup. So she's a makeup artist, but she's a union makeup artist. She works on big movies, and she just got into the union, which is like a huge thing, right? And so I was telling all these people we're gonna have kids, right? And so I'm tripping and I'm walking, and I started thinking, and I'm like, and it pushed that thought to the front. I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck am I doing? And I turned to my wife, and I'm crying at this moment, right? And I said, I'm so sorry. She's like, Brock, what's wrong? I was like, babe, I'm so fucking sorry that I've been pushing you to have kids when literally you just broke into the union. You need to be able to follow your dreams and do you and make you, Alyssa Goldberg, a fucking human being, so that when you look back, you have no fucking regrets. But I'm pushing this all on you. I'm like, I'm so fucking sorry. There is no rush. Let's just fucking wait, dude. And she looks at me and goes, Brock, and she starts crying. And she goes, I've been trying to tell you. She goes, I want to have kids with you, but like, I need to see this out. I need to be able to follow this through. And so we're just both crying at fucking Disneyland. And it's just like, that's what these things do, right? They allow you to fucking evaluate your life if you do it correctly. People go, oh, you did it at Disney World. It's not good. No, that's like a magical place. I've got fucking Mickey Mouse tattooed on my fucking hand. Like,
that's one of the
fuck out of here.
One of the first times I ever did mushrooms, we took a school trip to Disneyland. I think I was in junior in high school, and I ate it. And I got an eighth to split with my friend. And once it got time to do it, he's like, no, man. So I ate it all. And then like he was into weed too. So we smoked some weed on Tomahawk's Island. And those guys wanted to go look for chicks. And I was like, I'm going to Toontown. I'm out of here.
Let's go.
That's the best place to do acid. It's not scary for him on acid.
Oh my God, I love it, dude. I fucking love it. Just went to Horror Nights, ate fucking like 1.5 grams of mushrooms, dude. I absolutely love it. But for my birthday every year, we go to Joshua Tree, rent out a big house, and we go into the park and just laying on the rocks, looking at it. It's just, that is by far my favorite place, and Animal Kingdom and Disney World. I really appreciate you coming on this show, man.
Thank you for having me.
You are such a good, both of you guys are really great human beings, and I love your story and everything that you've done to this point. I know you've got a lot more. People listening, where can they find your shit?
Well, I got Chucky Chuck on Spotify Music, YouTube stuff. I'm in the works on some new records. Chucky Chuck DGAF on Instagram. I'm pretty active on there. Other than that, like catch me at the local bodega. Maybe get a Swisher Sweet or a Twisted Tea.
Yeah.
You know, I know we got some shows coming up too. We're playing the Hard Rock in Vegas on the 29th with Mad Child, Spice One,
Nice.
Lil Xan.
Let's go.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. And then I got a benefit show in November with Kyle from Slightly Stupid, Obnoxious, Mad Child, and myself for our friend George, who had a heart transplant. He got like a 21-year-old heart put in him, so it's been over a year he's had the heart transplant. So like we're just raising money for him because it can't work at that point. So we're good. Yeah, he's a good dude.
Everything you just said is so incredible.
Crazy.
Like, it's fucking crazy, man. Like it's literally crazy, and you just.
Oh yeah, we just when we were on the way here, we filled out an application to be in Half Baked Part 2.
No way.
Yeah, they're taking submissions, so we'll cross our fingers for that. We're trying to submit to be in.
They're doing Half Baked Part 2.
Half Baked Part 2, and they're taking auditions. I mean, I got a lot of tattoos, but I love that. Original movie was one of the best movies.
I mean, that's
ever.
what turned me on to Dave Chappelle, bro.
Yep.
It literally
And Jim Brewer was great.
Jim Brewer
was great.
Jim Brewer is fucking like the both of them. They're doing dude. Yeah. I got fucking chills right now. That for me, that was everything. Like that was our Cheech and Chong.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
And damn, everything Dave Chappelle and Jim Brewer's turned into, but especially Dave Chappelle, man. Good for you, man. I hope you get that.
Yeah, me too. That'd be
I
hilarious.
hope you get that. I appreciate you, brother. You're
I
good
appreciate
people,
you too, man. Thank you. Good stuff. Thanks for the weed and the Twisted Tea.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad I got you the peach.
Yeah, yo.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Boom.
Hell yeah.
Let's go, dude. Let's go.